All right, so we got Aaryan. How you doing, Aaryan?
I'm doing great. What about you?
Doing good, man. Doing good. So you're from Gaffney, South Carolina. Not too far from here, really. You love spending time outside. I know that's kind of tough for you right now. It's got to be with quarantine going on and everything. I know it's got to be a little rough for you to get outside since I'm sure you're having to stay inside most of the time.
It really is trying to go out to the lake or the beach or just hang out with friends, really. You're trying to quarantine and not spread
Definitely,
COVID, really. But
definitely, you do what you can, man. You do what you can. So the TED Talk that you chose, which I think it's really ironic for a time like this. Um, had to do with pandemics. Is the next great or the next outbreak, and we're not ready for it, basically. And it was Bill Gates was a speaker, um, the infamous, everyone knows the founder of Microsoft. How could you not? Um, going when you watched it, he talks about why he thinks that our next threat is not maybe nuclear warfare, but something else. What struck out to you the most in the TED Talk and made you really think?
what really struck out is just we're not prepared. He did this TED Talk back in 2015. So he predicted that we weren't ready, and he was right. COVID hit us, and our numbers are going up by the thousands each day, and we're really not stopping it. We're still not prepared for it. So that really struck me because he was right. He did that research when Ebola was going on, and he predicted it. So yes.
Definitely, definitely. And going off the back of that, he talks about in the TED Talk, he gives a few different solutions or what he thinks you know may have worked or why maybe we weren't prepared in 2015. What do you agree with from his TED Talk? What do you like? What is the biggest thing you agree with?
What I agree with, we're wasting our money on nuclear deterrence. We're wasting it on nuclear warfare when that's not really the biggest problem we have right now. The
Mm-hmm.
biggest problem we have right now is epidemic outbreaks. We need to
Definitely,
spend more money on a medical response team, just having better epidemiologists just to look at the virus and just do some research and find a vaccine for it. So
definitely.
yeah, we are spending the money on the wrong reasons right
Oh yeah. And when he talks in the TED Talk and he brings up he talks about the pandemic and then he brings up the Contagion movie, uh, preview or whatever it is. That kind of made me laugh. That was pretty funny how he compared it. He was in the movies, it's all fine and dandy. They figure it out, and then it's the end of it where we're in real time now. This is real world, and it doesn't really happen that way. So I thought that was pretty interesting. He talked about that and kind of brought that up. Um, so, like I said earlier, everyone knows who Bill Gates is. He's one of the most famous people in the world, one of the richest people in the world, founder of Microsoft. But he doesn't really, you don't catch him talking about global issues too often. So, how do you think that he, you know, connected with the crowd and really made the crowd or the audience members, should I say? How do you think he really made the audience members seem like he was credible on a situation of talking about a global pandemic when most of his experience would be in more of the tech and, that type of industry.
now. He's credible because he provided us with multiple. He brought up the 1918 flu and showed the chart of how it spread, and he gave us all these solutions that we should take to prepare for another outbreak. So that really just makes him credible. He was talking about Ebola, and he was doing his research on that, and just seeing from that, he got that we aren't ready as a country or as a world, really.
Definitely. Definitely. I thought that when he brought in those facts, it really helps you connect with him when he shows those facts to you. You can't deny facts. So I think that was definitely a great response. Um, he there's a lot of different people that I think that this could be, targeted to. But who do you think that Bill Gates, when he went out there on stage, who do you think his main target audience was? Who do you think that he was trying to connect with the most? You think it was younger people, or maybe doctors or health officials, whatever it may be? Like, who do you think his target audience was for that?
Oh, okay. The tough. I would say really just everyone, really, because with these outbreaks, it doesn't just affect a certain amount of people or a certain age. It affects everyone, not even a certain country. We're all affected by the COVID-19 right now, and it's just not one country. So I'm pretty sure he's talking to everyone that we need to be prepared for this outbreak.
Yeah, just kind of as a general, everyone's kind of a PSA kind of message, public service announcement. Hey, this is what we need to do. We're not doing it. So,
Exactly.
this TED Talk was made back in 2015, so 5 years ago. Looking back now to where we are today in the middle of a global pandemic, pretty much, do you think that we did enough to prepare ourselves as, not only a country, but maybe as a global, as the world? Do you think that the world did enough to prepare for something like this?
We are not at all. Our cases are at 1 million now, and we're leading in the whole world with cases. We did not have the right treatment plan. We didn't have a medical team, like medical corps response team, ready for the outbreak, and it really showed. So looking back on that, I feel like we need to take better precautions as of just when the outbreak really did hit. We gotta shut down the country. We kept letting foreign travelers come in and go out. We had it really hit us first when the cruise lines were up, and that's when we first got the corona cases into the U.S. And we should have just shut that from the start.
Yeah, that's true. You're straight facts. But so piggybacking off of that, and going off that question, you know, what do you think we could have done better before, before this even happened? Not, maybe not when we first started seeing the cases come in, but what should we have done before to prepare for something like this?
We should have had a better just to look at the possible viruses and outbreaks, and just really just spending more time and money on epidemiologists and looking at all these factors. We should have overall just be prepared, really. I mean, spent better resources on things like this. We really haven't experienced a big virus outbreak like this. Last one was like, I think 1918, the flu really affected the whole world. So I feel like if we spend better money on researchers and just trying to find vaccines and all that, we would be way better off.
Definitely, man. I agree with all of that as well. It's, we've talked about it, and the TED Talk really showed of what, I mean, like we said, it was back in 2015 of what could happen. And he makes a great case for it of the way, if Ebola wasn't as contagious, what it could have been compared to, maybe Corona isn't as deadly as Ebola, but it's way more contagious than Ebola is, or was, should I say. And, I think, looking back, definitely we could have done more to prepare. And, like you said, talking about with the cruise lines earlier and everything, that's really something that, I think we should have done as well. But I really appreciate your time, man. Great answers. I will talk to you soon. Thank you.
You have a great day.
You too, man.